Every person in this live has the perfect motive for murder. But only one of these suspects is the murderer. Is it the timid Mr. Green? Or the militant Colonel Mustard? Perhaps Mrs. White, who helped her husband on his way? Or was it Mrs. Scott, who helped many men along the way? Or Professor Plum, who's looking for a way? Mrs. Peacock? Or did the butler do it? Bookology Live invites you to an evening of mystery, murder, and madness in a show that makes a scene of the crime. Bookology. It's not just a game anymore. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Bookology, the show with interviews, blindfolds, and snacks from around the world. Today's episode is gonna be an interesting one, filled with murder, mystery, and yep, you guessed it, madness. With my very charismatic author of mysteries, Robin Lee Donovan. You see, Robin has nestled herself inside of a very niche market, or mindset, that's going to have us all appreciating the humor that can come from maybe not so humorous situations. For this English teacher, it all started with a blog that she titled Menologues, a blog designed to enlighten women about the menopausal experience. But this wasn't just any typical blog spot about menopause. Oh no, not with Robin Lehman. This blog was published and republished for several years on the popular platforms of Vibrant Nation as well as Alltop because of its unique perspective on the matter. Robin was able to capture the experience perfectly while adding flair and humor to her own experiences of menopausal discovery, while in her words, all the other informative blogs about this subject were dry as dust. So once she wet her beak to the fascination of writing to an audience that could actually relate, she decided to begin her Donna Leigh Mysteries series, which sets its premise around a menopausal ad agency owner who finds herself mixed up in murder and mystery. All three of her books are available online, and you can find the links in the description of this video below. So check them out while you help me in welcoming Robin Donovan to the set of Bookology to taste some snacks from the great UK. And remember, YouTube is our most sought after platform. That's the platform we're truly building. So if you're watching this from Facebook, be sure to go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel as we continue to bring everything over there. And that's where you can find all of our previous episodes as well. To Bookology, and we're excited to get started here. We have Robin Donovan, and I was excited, Robin, to actually get you on because I know your insight on things is something that I can relate to. And how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, very well. We're just getting everything situated, so I appreciate everybody bearing with us. Okay, so as you know, you're new to the show, so I just want you to understand how everything works. We're going to chit-chat just for a few minutes and ask you a few questions, and then we'll jump right into the snacks so you can taste some of those awesome UK snacks. How does that sound?
That sounds great.
All right, fantastic. Guys, don't forget, audience, ask any questions you want for Robin. Robin is a mystery author, and she writes mystery, and we're going to learn a lot about her. I do have questions planned for her, but please jump in. And, if there's any issues, like you're having difficulty hearing her or me or anything like that, don't hesitate to let us know. It is a live show, so we can hopefully respond to it immediately, so that way you guys can enjoy it, okay? So, so your whole journey began as an English teacher, huh?
That's right. It did. Yeah.
Okay. And how long were you an English teacher for?
3 years.
Okay. Nice. What grade were you teaching?
High school English.
High school?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Hmm.
So was it all 4 grades, or did you focus on maybe like a certain grade?
It really was all 4, but I had more juniors than anything else. So, and the
What do you think
juniors were
about the age
tough.
group? It's kind of a tough
Yeah,
age group.
it was a tough age group, especially my first year because they knew a lot more about the school and how it worked than I did. So they could get around me a lot more, and took me a good 6 months to figure out how to deal with them. I had a lot of drug dealers, and
Really?
it was a rough system. Yeah,
Were you
yeah.
where were you located?
I was in Watertown, Connecticut, which is a lot better than Waterbury, Connecticut, which is the next town over.
Mm.
But yeah, it was a factory town, and there were a lot of immigrants that came in and, were feeling a little lost, and so kind of resorted to drugs. So yeah, so it was I had a knife pulled on me and my life threatened, and they threatened to blow up my car so they'd have to identify my body with my dental records. So you can see moving into murder really wasn't a big stretch from high school English teaching.
Wow. Oh my goodness. So is that going to be your next series? Is kind of a high school murder mystery?
I once I got out of there, I said, I'm done with kids. And that was it. So no, I'll keep murdering adults.
I don't blame you. Now, as an English teacher, did you find yourself always fantasizing about writing as a teacher? Is it something that you've always liked to do, or was it something that kind of came later on in life for you?
No, from day one. I mean, I wrote before I ever became an English teacher, letters to relatives and friends, and I always would pride myself on the fact that they would say, "Oh boy, you cheered me up, you made me laugh." So that was always my goal when I was writing. And so I knew one day I would write a book, but I kept saying, when I have time, I'll write a book. And then life just gave me less and less time. So, but I finally got into a situation when I owned an advertising agency where it was kind of a perfect storm. And I said, it's now or never. If I don't do it now, this will never happen. So,
Sure.
so I did.
Yeah, no, I can appreciate that. One of the things that's commendable is when did you actually publish your first book?
I thought it was in November of 2009.
So, and what was the title of that book? Is that the one we're talking about here today?
Is it still murder, even if she was a bitch?
I know everybody loves that title, right?
I do get a lot. It's funny because if I go to a book event, a lot of times people just walk up to me and say, no. And at first I didn't. Now I realize that they're answering the question.
Yeah, yeah. That's kind of like Dan Levy. Have you heard of Dan Levy?
It does sound familiar, yes.
Dan Levy. Do you know who Eugene Levy is? The guy with
Oh,
the caterpillar eyebrows?
yes. I love them. I love them.
And what's the name of that show?
Schitt's Creek.
Yeah, Schitt's Creek.
Yes.
Exactly. So he says, I walk around and a lot of people recognize me, but the only problem is when they come up to me, they say, "Ew," because his sister always, would say that to him.
Right.
So I thought that's funny. It's kind of similar to you.
You can get a little bit of a complex when you're out there in public.
Oh yeah, for sure. So typically, in my experience, an English teacher holds with them a certain stigma. They're usually serious. They're usually, they're stipulated. Everything has to be perfect, especially with grammatical errors, things like that. Now, that stigma doesn't usually relate itself to sales or sales-related jobs. So how the heck did you transition from English teacher to like an ad sales agent?
Actually, I guess everybody in advertising is in sales in one way or another. But you know, I was in a system that was having a lot of political problems, and the parents were all fighting with the teachers. And so I said, you know, maybe this isn't the best experience for me. Maybe I'll find something else. And then I said, hey, you know, as long as I felt very old. I was 25 years old, and I felt like I was about 85 years old. So I decided that I needed to just maybe find a different career. So I started putting feelers out and going to job fairs, and at the job fairs, everybody would say to me, well, you have no skills. So I actually saw an ad in the Hartford Courant about an ad agency that they said was a really cool place to work, and did great work, but really fun. And I said, you know what, that's what I really need in my life. And hey, I could be a writer. So, you know, I called them, I asked to speak to the president and told him I'd like to be one of his writers. And he said, yeah, we don't really need any writers, but I have some other jobs. You want to interview for those? And I got one of them. So that's really, it was just being in the right place at the right time, basically.
I see. Okay. So kind of transitioned itself, and then eventually you kind of opened your own conglomerate.
Oh, yes. Well, and that really wasn't a plan either. I mean, I got recruited to a job in Omaha, and after a couple of years, the parent company was kind of breaking up our company. We were a global company, and the parent company was breaking it up. And the opportunity was there for a few of us to buy the ad agency, that the office that we had. So we just went ahead and did it. Ironically, though, I was also looking for a job in case that didn't work out, and I got offered a job in New Orleans. That was the year before Katrina. I think I'm glad I stayed where I did.
Yeah, no kidding. Seriously. So, and where are you right now?
Now I'm in Omaha.
So now you're in Omaha.
Yes.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. And how's the business going? Good?
You know, it's COVID is not helping any business.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah. You know, I mean, basically, any business that's still afloat right now is doing good.
Yeah, no, it's true. Very true story. So, you know, I'm really interested to get to talking to you about Donna Leigh, okay? Because, you know, the protagonist of your book, for those of you who haven't been able to read her book or her book series yet. In today's day and age, it's no secret that sex sells. Everyone's looking to be entertained by that sexy 23-year-old protagonist or the gorgeous, you know, heroine or hero of the novel. So I'm just wondering, what made you decide to go the route of selecting your protagonist to be a middle-aged woman going through menopause?
Well, partly because I was a middle-aged woman going through menopause, and as a lifelong reader of murder mysteries, there was never a middle-aged woman that was an amateur sleuth. It was always somebody in their 20s with stiletto heels that was gorgeous and top of their class at Harvard, and a lawyer and a doctor, or Miss Marple. So I kind of resented it, and apparently I didn't even realize this until I started writing, but I had some things I wanted to say about some menopausal women. So I stuck her out there, and there are some things that she does that I would say are very different than some of the 20-year-olds. As brilliant as they are, they always agree to meet the murderer at 3:00 in the morning in an empty parking garage, alone with, no backup and no weapon. So my Donna Leigh would never agree to that. In fact, she's been offered a few times, and she ends up telling them off, and they end up apologizing. So
that's great. That's awesome. So let's talk for a moment about the perceived notions about one's individual self, okay? It's obviously you have a passion to ensure women of the world see themselves in the best of light. Can you touch on that subject for me, and how different women might view themselves and how they view other women?
Absolutely. When I was writing the book, certain things came out that until I was reading it later on, I didn't even realize that I mean, I knew that I felt this way, but I didn't realize that I felt a need to share those feelings. So one of the things was, I have a couple of characters in there who are maybe a little bit overweight, but they're the hottest. The one in particular, she's the hottest woman in the room because she knows how to dress herself. She knows how to make herself up. And the fact that she maybe is 30, 40, maybe even 50 pounds overweight really doesn't get in her way because she, she has style and elegance. And so I felt that that was an important message that I'm so sick of hearing people say, if you're not skinny, then don't even waste your time. Ironically, my very first speaking engagement, there was a woman in the front who was definitely from the whole hippie generation with the long tie-dyed floral skirt and the long gray hair. And she said to me, "What makes you think that a woman dressed up and with makeup on is the hottest woman in the room?" And I said, "You've got me there." I said, that's my viewpoint. And I understand that it really kind of stunned me because I thought that I was expressing things for all women, and I was very wrong about that.
That's so. It's something that we definitely kind of face, and a lot of people. Well, I think women and men alike, if I can be entirely honest, they hide it internally. I know, if I'm watching a series on television, for instance, and it's 8 seasons long, and you're trucking through it, and throughout the course of these 8 seasons, which essentially is 8 years, you're learning of newer characters who continue to make themselves present inside the story, right? And
Right.
Sure, you're fine with maybe the initial introduction to the series being good-looking people, they're attractive, yeah. But I get frustrated when it's time over time over time over time. Every new character that's coming in is another beautiful individual, and God bless the beautiful people of the world. But where's the normalcy? Where's that normal person that I can relate to? The only thing that I find myself wanting to do when I watch, the series on TV where everybody's gorgeous is work out.
Yeah. And I just want to eat cake. I don't even want to work. I go past the workout and go right to the cake.
Yeah, well, good for you. Good for you. So I'm gonna ask you one more question, and then we can get started with the blindfold challenge.
All right.
And while we're doing the blindfold challenge, I just just let us know exactly what you're tasting. I'll ask some more
All right.
questions as well for you. Okay.
Okay.
And guys in the audience, please don't be afraid. If you have any questions, please ask. She's got a very intriguing book. The book title alone makes you want to pick it up. There's no doubt about that. So yeah, please be sure to ask any questions you guys want. I'll be happy to bring it up to Robin. Robin, my next question is, in your writing, have you found there to be any advantages to actually having that amateur detective be menopausal?
I have. For me anyway, what I love about the fact that she's menopausal is that she's starts out right from the gate being flawed. She's not perfect. Because if she dresses perfectly and she does her hair perfectly and her makeup perfectly, she's going to have a hot flash and she's going to be kind of a soggy mess. So she has to learn to live with imperfection, and she knows herself well enough to know that she is flawed. And so, I think I personally believe she's more real than most of the detectives I read about. I mean, you see men that are kind of sloppy and they burp and they do other disgusting things, but that almost takes it too far. I really think she's a real person, I mean, so that for me, that makes it more relatable. Even if you're older, I was surprised. I thought my audience would be menopausal women, but I've had a lot of men and a lot of younger people come up to me. I do think she's relatable because she knows she's flawed, and she tries to get around it because she'd rather not admit it. But and I think we all have that. So
Sure. No, absolutely. I completely agree with you. All right. So why don't you grab your blindfold, whichever one you're comfortable with.
all right, I
know
will
you said you
grab
had
the
your
one.
own.
And I have to say that I've never had an interview before that enabled me to work with a knife. So as a murder mystery person,
It's perfectly fitting.
yeah, I like it. I'm comfortable. All right,
That's
here we go.
great. So just make sure you, what do you got the knife for there, Robin?
To open the box.
Okay,
So
you're gonna open the box
help.
blindfolded with a knife.
I bet I can. Do you want me to open the box now?
This is this is good. Yes, open the box. If you're having any difficulty, please remove the blindfold. No problem, and then you can.
No, I got it open.
Well, look at you. You're skilled, huh?
I'm good with the knife. All right, now I'm gonna just reach in and take something.
So can we see the box? Can you show? Is there any way we can see the box?
You can. It might be upside down though.
No, that's great. Don't worry about it. All right, awesome. So we got the box there.
Okay.
And just open it up. Make sure you bring that that thing down on your nose as much as you can, and
Okay.
go for it. Let's see what you got.
All right, here I go. All right. Okay, is that frontward or backward?
That's backward. As it's, for some reason, it seems to be no matter what when you're blind. Now flip it over. There it is, right there, guys.
So that's what I'm gonna do first. We'll see.
We're gonna give that one a taste, guys, and if you didn't get a chance to see it, that's exactly what it looks like, right there.
Oh, kind of. That feels kind of. It feels like cereal.
Cereal, huh?
Wow. It's definitely savory. It's like it's almost like a potato chip in a ball form.
Can we see it again? Can you grab another one?
Sure.
Let's see what it looks like.
Not really a ball, but
Now these all come from the UK. Oh, I see what it is.
it's
Okay.
pretty good. Yeah.
Go
I mean,
ahead,
it's almost like
try another one. See if you can get a flavor.
Garlic.
Oh, you're tasting some garlic, are you?
Yes. It's like a cheese puff, only garlic flavored.
Wow, a garlic cheese puff. That actually doesn't sound that bad.
No, it's not bad. I like it. Should I put this one down and see what else is
Yeah, you
there?
can put that down now.
All right.
Guys, these snacks, again, they're coming from the UK. And I always like to try and give little bits of fun facts, okay? So I'll give you a fun fact here from the UK. Every day, people drink 165 million cups of tea in the UK. Now, I think that I've already said this before, so because of that, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the second one, which is at one point, the British Empire ruled approximately 25% of the world's population and covered about 25% of Earth's total land area. Now, before you taste that one,
All right.
let me give you the options of the other one, because you're excited. I love it.
I am.
She wants to
I'm
get
having
into
fun.
that next one.
I'm kind of hungry now.
You can keep eating those chips if you want.
I might. Well, they'll drown out anything else. Let me tell you, that garlic is pretty strong.
Did you bring a drink with you or something to spit in?
I did, but if I touch it, I'll knock it over. So.
Oh, great. It's always fun blindfolded and trying to drink something. Okay, so let's see. Those are the one you just tried is either Tangy Tom's tomato-flavored corn snacks. Number 2 is corn bits.
Yeah.
Or number 3 is Space Raiders spicy corn snacks. So which one do you think that is?
This one here, or
Yeah,
this one here?
No, the one you just tasted. Yeah.
Wow, it feels like toffee. It feels like Turkish taffy or something.
Wait, you already tasted the second one?
No, I haven't tasted it yet. I'm just feeling it.
Oh, no, I'm trying to have you guess on the first one.
But the first one is, okay, I'm sorry. What are those options again?
That's okay. Is it Tangy Tom's tomato-flavored corn snacks?
Okay.
Is it corn bits? or is it Space Raiders Spicy Corn Snacks?
Wow. I'm going to go with Space Raiders.
Okay. The answer is this right here for those of you who are watching. It is Space Raiders Spicy Corn Chips. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. All right.
So the
Food.
next one, let's see it. Why don't you go ahead
All
and
right.
show everybody.
Okay. Is that the correct?
Yep, just lift it a little higher. Higher up to the camera. Yeah. Oh, there you go.
All right.
So guys, that's this right here in case anyone's trying to get a better look at it. Go ahead now, open it up. I know you're excited about that one. What'd you say? It feels like a Laffy Taffy or something?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, you like Laffy Taffies?
I do.
Nice.
All right. My teeth don't. My dentist doesn't like them on.
Yeah, right.
But you know. All right. Well, that's good too.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
What's that
like
tasting like?
It tastes like taffy.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Does it have a certain flavor?
Let's see. I'll pull it out from my teeth and try re-eating it.
Yeah, let's re-inspect it. Why don't you grab it out your teeth and show the camera?
Yeah, I got some down there. Could be like a cherry or
Sure.
cherry, maybe.
All right, let me ask you a question while you're enjoying that, and then we'll give you options for that one, okay?
All right.
Now, it's no secret that your personality shines through the camera like a bright sunny day, Robin. You've got a great character. It's awesome. So I wonder if you might have some insight about the importance of being able to laugh at yourself without putting yourself down in a derogatory way.
Oh, that's a very good question. And we'll just say, watching me try to talk now that I just had another piece of taffy would be a good example of that. But the way that I did it was I created a character, an outrageous character called Clovis Cordoba Seville.
I have a question about him, by the way. I mean, her, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
But go ahead and finish. I'll let you finish.
Okay. So she is Donna's alter ego. And she is always saying things like, now Clovis is the world's most narcissistic person. And Clovis, and Clovis is always saying to Donna, when they're out in public and Donna says something, Clovis is always announcing to the world, oh my God, Donna, how can you're always grabbing attention. You know, what is your problem? You fail at everything you do. And you know, there's a grain of truth to all of it, but Clovis exaggerates everything. So
is she a real character, or is she just like the alter ego, like the chip on the shoulder type thing?
No, she's a real character. In fact, I created her to do this. I was in a situation where I wanted Donna to be self-deprecating, but I didn't want Donna to put herself down, as you said. So I created Clovis, and she is my favorite character in all three of the books now. I love her. And it's funny because one of my first editors said, well, it's ridiculous. People aren't like that. She's so unrealistic. And she is a real person. And she's now found me and we're on Facebook together. So she is real.
which was actually my question. My question was she developed over from someone you know? Is she someone you know?
She is someone I know. And I have to say, in the advertising industry, you meet some fascinating and bizarre people. Sure. And you really don't have to add anything to make them, you know, outrageous characters. I mean, every day I see some outrage. You know, most of the people are normal, wonderful, fun-loving people, but we have a lot of oddballs. And she is, I have lots of stories about her, the real one and the fake one. In my book, she is, she's descended from Romanian gypsies, but in real life, she came from a circus family. So you got to know that it's not far off.
Does she know she's the character in your book?
I don't know. It's funny that you asked me. I don't know about that. The only one that my first murder victim was at a meeting with a friend of mine, and a friend of mine with a big mouth. And they finished their meeting, and she gave him a big hug, and she said, "Oh, tell everybody, back at the office I said hi." And he said, "Robin?" And she said, "No." And she said, "Well, I heard she wrote a book." He said, "Yeah, yeah. I heard she killed me." He said, "Oh, no, no, no. Oh, no, 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 not at all." So I thought to myself, she hates me so much that she'll never buy the book and read it. And that's probably a good thing, because I don't think she would think. He said, "Well, what would you do if she did?" And she said, "I'd probably laugh." I don't think she would.
So we've got a question from the audience here.
Okay.
Monika asks, "Did you always know that you wanted to be an author, and how old were you when you started writing published works?"
Oh, that's a good question. I danced around it a little bit in college, but I didn't actually have anything published until I was living out here in Omaha. And I started writing about the elderly, because I was on the board of Alzheimer's, and there was a senior newspaper. And so I had written some things. And then when I started Menologues, then I started doing a lot more interviews and things like that, but really not until later in life. But I really always wanted to do it. So, I thought I wouldn't have enough time. What I didn't realize was the actual writing of the books is so much fun. I wish I could write 8,000-page books, because I have so much fun while I'm writing them.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same way. When I started my series, the very first book. Oh my goodness! It was. I mean, I had to cut it down a lot, but I think it was maybe 550 pages, if I'm not mistaken, 600 pages by the time I was done before my first edit, and I just got lost. I got lost in the world. I got lost in
Yeah.
the experience and the characters and building them and building out the entire world. It's an epic fantasy paranormal romance. So,
Oh, that sounds like fun. I
yeah.
actually
So yeah. So it was
just,
fun, but when you're dealing with that type of fiction, you really have to develop everything. You develop the world, develop the characters in the first book. So
yeah,
so yeah, very much like you in that
I'm gonna
regard.
check it out. Yeah, I actually taught science fiction when I was teaching high school.
Oh, great, nice.
Yeah, so I just read one for a new author, and he asked me for a review, so it was kind of fun. So
Nice.
yeah,
Outstanding. Well, I'll tell you, let's go in and see what we've got here. Okay, so for
okay.
that option, the Laffy Taffy that you think it's a Laffy Taffy there, is it called the Wham Original with Sour Crystals? Is it Refreshers Sour Chew Bar? Or is it Toxic Waste Nuclear Sludge?
Well, I'm gonna have to go with number 3, because I just like that name so much.
It's a great name, right?
Yes.
It should be the name of that candy, but it's
Okay.
not the name of the candy. That's actually the Wham Original with Sour Crystals. And you know what?
Okay.
What's funny about that is when I was coming up with the alternate options, I was like, "Ooh, man, that's the better name."
It is. They need to rebrand. I know an ad agency.
That's great. All right. Well, you can grab the next item out of your box.
All right.
Just reach right into your box there and grab that item out.
All right. Okay. That feels like a thing of Starbursts.
Well, let's see if it is Starbursts, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead and put that up to the camera if you can.
Higher or?
That's no. This is just fun to watch. Go move. I think probably my right,
Okay.
or your right rather. Your right. Yes. Now,
Better?
now just quickly flip it once. There you go. Yeah, that's pretty good. And I have images too on my end. I just like watching you guys struggle.
Well, and now I have sticky fingers, so it just makes everything harder.
Yeah, well, that's what she said. All right, go ahead, open that up and try one of them.
All
And
right.
we're going to go ahead and show you guys what that is. Please be quiet in the audience, all right? Don't say anything. And let's see what this.
Uh-oh, the first one hit the floor.
Uh-oh, don't step on it.
I know.
Well, while you're going ahead and trying that, I do have another question for you. Have you ever hit writer's block? This is coming from Monika again.
Okay.
She's excited to talk to you. She says, first of all, thank you so much for answering my question. What a great episode. And
My pleasure.
then she asks, did you ever hit writer's block with this book? And if so, how did you overcome that? Great question, by the way.
One of the things that I did that many writers don't do is I only write when the spirit moves me.
Sure.
And it moves me a lot. But I would pretty much, when I'm writing a book, I set aside Saturdays and Sundays. I have a very understanding husband, and I write from like 8 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock at night. I never had writer's block while I was writing it. I thought it would take me a year to write it. It took me 3 months. I just had so much fun with it. But during editing, at one point, I put a lot of pressure on myself to get the editing, because the editors would have it for 5 months, and that made me nuts. And then I'd get it back, and I would do it like in a day. I would make all the edits and go through it. And when I was editing, I just hit one point where I was just not in the mood to write. And I forced myself. And everything I wrote that day was rubbish. So I decided that's the last time I'm going to do that. If I don't feel like writing, I'm just going to not. I'm not even going to try. And when I feel like it, everything is so much better when you feel like it. I mean, when I went back and reread that, I thought, ugh, who wrote this? What moron wrote this?
Yeah, you can see the difference in writing
absolutely.
when you're not interested.
Yes.
Did you taste it already?
I did taste it.
What do you think?
It's got like a licorice or an anise flavor to it.
Yeah, that sounds absolutely disgusting to me.
It's not my favorite flavor, honestly, but a lot of people love it.
Yeah, I'm surprised at the number of people who like black licorice or licorice.
Yeah.
Typically, those people like Zambuca also.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's not one of my favorites either. So.
Nah, not one of my favorites. Okay, let's see. Is that Red Vines, Black Licorice Bites? Is it Barrett's Blackjack? Or is it Walker's Licorice Toffees?
Well, I didn't think Red Vines was a UK company, so I'm going to go with the second one, Barrett's.
Barrett's, yep. Well, maybe my research was wrong, but I did look for companies in the UK, and Red Vines came up. But maybe I could be wrong. I could be wrong about that. You know how search engines are sometimes.
I just eat them. I don't look them up. So, you
yeah. Normally, I don't either. Hi, Pam. Pam says she likes black licorice. Well, you're one of the few in this show, Pam.
There you go, sweetheart.
We'll send one to you, all right?
Yes.
But that is the right answer, actually. Barrett's Blackjack is what those are called. So congratulations. So essentially, I would love to give one of your ebooks out for doing this. If that's it, there's nothing else in your box, right?
Well, that's what he said.
That's what he was hoping.
The box is apparently empty.
The box is empty. All right.
Does that mean I can take
take your blindfold off now if you'd like?
Ah!
There you go. Okay. Welcome to the light.
Yeah, I'm back. I've been gone.
So if anybody's interested in getting her book, I will be more than happy to give it to you. I'll give away one free book here on today's episode. All you got to do is let me know that you're interested in the comments here. And if you're catching the replay, you can also let me know. What I do is I wait a few days, and then I'll throw the names in a hat and I'll pick out a lucky winner, and we will send you guys the ebook. All right. So, if you do want it, again, replay or live, doesn't matter. Go ahead and put your interest in the comments below, and we'll get to it in a couple of days and choose our winner. Okay? Does that sound good? All right. So let's ask you a few more questions. Is that all right?
Sure.
All right. Excellent. You having fun?
I am.
All right. You can eat those chips if you want.
I'm kind of a big ham. like Donna Leigh, I like to be the center of attention. So,
Well,
yeah, I might have some.
The
Might have some more
floor is
tap.
yours, Donna. The floor is yours. Her name's not Donna, by the way, just in case anybody missed that.
Well, that's actually why I picked the name Donna for my character, because I married a guy with the last name Donovan. And
Donna Donovan.
and I actually know someone named Donna Donovan, but when I'd be making business calls and people would answer and they'd say, oh, let me put you on hold, Donna. And everybody was calling me Donna. So I just said, well, let me make her Donna.
So this story is very much connected to you in several different ways, huh?
Oh, very, very much. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. Where am I? Did I ask? Yes, I asked that one. Okay. So here we go. These days, it's getting more and more difficult for one to express themselves without facing the adverse cancer culture society that we find ourselves in, okay? We know this to be true.
Yes.
Now, this has proven to be a serious blow for comedians who, under normal circumstances, they're able to sometimes find humor in tragic events. So I wonder how you deal with a tragic event like murder and still find comedy as a premise without being conceived as heartless.
I love that question. It is tricky. What I try to do is I try to have the people around the situation caring and concerned for the victim's family. So in the first book, especially this Claire, she had a husband and a son, and so we bring them up periodically, and we're sympathetic about them and concerned for them and concerned for her parents and his parents and everything. But we make fun of her because she was a colleague and a former coworker, and we didn't like her. So, we talk about the fact that they had to get a bigger coffin because her feet wouldn't fit in a normal sized one. And, so we try to separate and have the ghoulishness just connected to the negativity of the victim. And then there is caring, and everybody sort of takes a step back and says, oh, right, her poor husband, and oh my goodness, the son, and that sort of thing.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I think that's a good way to address it. Have you ever thought about your book series being turned into a movie?
Have I ever not thought about it? Yes. I mean, obviously, you do think about it. And sure, I mean, I would kill for it. I'm sure they wouldn't choose me as the writer because I've never written a screenplay. So, but it wouldn't hurt book sales. I'll say that much.
No, definitely not. I wonder who you see as playing Donna.
Yeah, that's a good question. Somebody asked me that the other day, and I said, I think, like me. I mean, I'm really shooting for the stars, but like a Meryl Streep or.
That's what I had in my head. I got to be honest with you.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
That's who I had in my head. That's funny.
Great.
Yeah, I think she could nail that position.
Oh, I think she could.
Who else is I can't think of her name off the top of my head, but she played in Hocus Pocus.
Okay, that's got Bette Midler.
Bette Midler.
Yeah. I know. I love her. I thought about her too. I have actually answered that question using Bette Midler. So yeah, it was funny because when I wrote all of that stuff, I was like, I was worried because I said I'm going to be the pinup girl for menopause, which is the last thing any woman on earth wants, right? I mean, you never want that.
Yeah.
So now, the funny thing is, now that it's 3 books later and all these years later, I'm on the other side of menopause, and now it's like, yeah, I'm menopausal, or I was
Yeah,
a
been there,
while
done that.
back. Exactly. But if you're on the other side of menopause and you cling to it, you must be younger than what you might actually be.
Right, and I can't even imagine what that experience is like. But I can imagine that there are a lot of women who are concerned about it as they begin to approach that time in their lives. What's it going to be? Is it going to hurt, or whatever the case may be? What is the real feeling like? So, is your blog still up and active?
Oh yeah, it is up and active. I haven't added to it in a while. I mean, I wrote it for, like 4 or 5 years. When they suggested it, I said, how am I going to find enough things to say? But I talk about problems with clothing that maybe it doesn't fit people right, or different things like that. But it was interesting because it really, to my knowledge, was the first time that anybody put something out there that was both entertaining and comical and informative at the same time. Because, there are a lot of women that are out there saying, I just shoot me now and give me wine and stick my head in the freezer. And, I have said that, but I try to also say, and don't do these 5 things that doctors tell you to do. Part of the problem with menopause is that the medical community isn't all that well informed. There are certain doctors that understand hormone therapy, but there are people that if you said hormone therapy, they think you should be killed. So it's a big avoidance topic. So it's one of the few topics that really intelligent women, when they hit menopause, they know nothing about it. And so all of a sudden the doctor's saying, well, how do you want to go, this way or that way? And they're like, I don't know. And the doctor, what at my doctor, at the time that I was starting menopause, I went to a new doctor, a GP, and we were talking about, okay, this is what we're going to do. And he said, oh, as far as that menopause hormone stuff, I hope somebody else is helping you because I don't know anything about it. So,
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's not.
Now, Robin, if so like I shoot from Florida.
Yeah.
So, and right now, the past few days, it's been about 85 degrees, but I'm wearing this suit, and I'm extremely hot and experiencing hot flashes at this moment.
Okay.
Do you think I'm menopausal?
Well, that's an interesting question. And since we have discussed the UK here, I will bring them up again.
Okay.
A number of years ago, I'm sure you've heard of biorhythms, that you don't hear about them too much anymore. Mm-hmm. But apparently biorhythms are connected to like menopause and menstrual cycles and all of that. Well, men have biorhythms too. And like 30 years ago, I read an article that said there was a bus company in the UK, and they charted all of their bus drivers, who were all men, they charted all their biorhythms. And during the period where they would be like what was comparable to a woman having her menstrual cycle, they didn't schedule them to drive during that 2-week or 2 period. They said the traffic accidents went down by 50%.
Wow.
So yeah, men do have a comparable, it's the first time I had read that, but I thought fascinating. And like you think, is it fair that women have all this crap to deal with and men don't have any of it? So I guess biorhythms kind of equal it out. So if you want to, maybe don't do your most important things when your biorhythms suggest otherwise.
Sounds good. I'm going to keep that one in mind.
All right.
I have a few more questions to finish up tonight's episode.
All right.
I absolutely love your title, and that's not a that's not a secret. I've already mentioned this a couple of times.
I love hearing it. I cannot hear it enough.
So again, for anybody who's out there, it's called "Is It Still Murder Even If She Was a Bitch?" And I just think it's priceless. Now, tell me where you were inspired to get that title. Where'd that come from?
I will tell you, when I started writing the book, I wanted it to be a series. And I thought of like Sue Grafton, M is for murder, A is for alibi. And I was racking my brain to come up with a really clever series of names. And I couldn't. And I thought, I was really mad at myself because I thought I'm in this business. I should damn well know how to come up with clever names.
Sure.
So after the book was all finished, I was talking to my business partner and I said to her, what am I going to do? And she said, stop putting that kind of pressure on yourself. She said, just don't try to make it a series. Just make it a book. Pick your name, move forward. And if it's a series, it's a series. So I said, she's right. So I turned around and I said, I don't know. Is it still murder, even if she was a bitch? And I wrote it down and I said, they're never going to let me keep that title. I know they're not, but I like it. So
what's the audience that you're trying to reach?
I just want to reach people who want to get a little bit of an escape and get a laugh, and that maybe they like a murder mystery. I try to actually take you through the whole murder mystery and not just leave you hanging or leave a lot of red herrings. So that, to me, that was important too, because a lot of the comical murder mysteries, they kind of let the murder go and they go for the comedy. And so I tried not to let that happen. But I was interviewing it was actually a bad time in the economy. And I was interviewing for a creative director, and most of them were writers. And, these days when you interview someone, they have researched you. So they want to ask questions about you to, make you, to pump your ego up. So, and I was talking to some of the best writers around the country from all different markets. And they would the ones that would say to me, well, I read a little bit about you. What are you doing? And I said, well, I'm working on this book. And they would say, oh yeah, what's the title? And when I told them, they all laughed, like belly laughed. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to let them make me change this title. If these brilliant writers all love that title, this has got to be it. So,
yeah.
That's why
it's a very catchy title. Absolutely. The
Thank
title
you.
is great.
The rest of the series, I sort of went with something a little unusual and long, kind of like, because that's what the first one is. It's a little unexpected and long. So
got it.
Yeah.
So so why don't you finish up tonight's episode? The floor's yours if you want to plug anything or tell the audience anything at all. Go ahead.
Let's see. Boy, that's a tough. No one ever gives me that opportunity, and there's probably a reason for it. I guess what I really want to say is, if you feel like you want to write a book, sit down and write a book. You probably won't make any money. It's a lot of work to try to promote it. I know I read on Malcolm Gladwell's his blog. He said, we don't really make money from our books. We hope that our books give us enough awareness that we get paid speaking gigs. Well, I've like twice before I've been asked what I charge to speak. I speak for free usually. So, but you know what? It's just, it's really so much fun. I got somebody said to me, what makes it all worthwhile? I mean, I'm not making millions, that's for sure. But I got a note on Messenger from this writer in LA, a TV writer in LA, and it was just so wonderful. He just said, you don't know me, but I've read your books and I think they're really funny and I love how you write. And I'm a TV writer in LA, and I just thought I should tell you that. And I hope you and your family are doing well. And I was just, and of course, naturally, I looked him up, and he's legit. And so somebody asked me, what makes it worthwhile? And I said, that made it worthwhile.
Yeah.
Just that made it worthwhile. So, and actually, you've already. I wish I had it in writing what you said, because I would frame that too. I frame what he said, but I appreciate the wonderful things that you've said.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, Robin, thank you so much for spending some time with us and tasting some snacks from the UK. I do hope you tell your friends about us, because we are a new growing channel, and we'd really like to make this thing a big thing. And really, I want to interview some some people like J.R. Ward too,
Yeah,
you know, anybody. J.K. Rowling, come
I know,
on the
right?
show, come on the show.
I do
So
have a lot
maybe
of
there's
author
some
friends
tweaking
on
that we have to
Facebook,
do
so
before that happens.
I'll keep sharing on Facebook because I got a lot of author friends there. So,
I appreciate that. I appreciate
all
that. And
right.
we are still booking authors. We're booked out for. I think there's some spots in March still available if anybody is interested. So yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. That'd be great. But thank you so much for joining. You hang on. Just be silent or mute your Zoom. I'm gonna come back on after we end the show, and I'll chit chat with you for a bit. Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. So everybody who's out there, just so you guys are aware, that's Robin Donovan, and she is the author of "Is It Still a Murder If She Was a Bitch?" And so you can find the information in the information area of this video. The links, the Amazon link, her actual website. If you guys actually want to learn a little bit more about her and her book series, she's a wonderful person, and it was amazing having her on here. Now, I did want to just, before we end the episode, I did just want to say thank you because it's only been 2 weeks that we have been in production here and gone live. And we've grown our Facebook following now from 0 to nearly 1,400
Wow.
people following the page, which is phenomenal. And I do hope those people start to become aware of what we're doing here and the lives that we're having, and how awesome it really is. So I did want to take a moment to thank all of you out there who are following us and helping us grow. We are like primarily a YouTube channel for the purposes of live streaming. I thought we could hit a lot more people here in Facebook because we were growing, exponentially here, which is why I do my live streams with both. You can go on YouTube right now and see the live. It's happening right now as well. So I stream from both channels at the same time. But what YouTube will offer you is it'll offer you the opportunity to see all of our other episodes because they will not remain on Facebook. We're going to be taking them off. We take them off as as that happens. So I did just want to say thank you to you guys for coming and showing all of your support. And remember to go over to YouTube, look up Bookology Live. You can look up Bookology or Bookology Live. Make sure you check out the emblem or the logo. I do know that there's a few other ones out there that have Bookology pages, but we've already blown them out of the water with our subscribers, and we only have about 80 subscribers. So they didn't take the name Bookology very seriously, did they? And they should have, shouldn't they have? Yes, I know. I feel the same way as you. So once again, thank you so much, guys, for joining. That's going to do it for today's show of Bookology. I do hope you enjoyed yourself. Please come on. If you're watching this on the replay, let us know you'd like a book, and we're going to pick a name out of the hat in a few days, and we'll send you one of her books absolutely free. All right? Thank you so much, guys, and you be well. We're going to stop that stream right now.